Welcome to The Explainer. So, we're surrounded by this incredible artificial intelligence, right? But there's this huge, kind of scary problem we have to talk about. Why do these super smart systems so often and with so much confidence just make stuff up? They're called AI hallucinations, and today we're going to break down what they are, why they happen, and how you can spot them before they trick you.
Okay, let's just start with a number that should really make you pause. Some research shows that anywhere from 20 to 40% of AI-generated summaries have fabrications in them. And just to be super clear, that's not, a slightly different way of phrasing something. We're talking about information that just wasn't in the original text at all. It's a massive, massive accuracy problem. This quote just nails the problem perfectly. The AI isn't just wrong, it's wrong in this smooth, fluent way that makes it sound incredibly convincing. This is honestly one of the biggest failure modes of modern AI, and learning to see through it is becoming a critical skill for, well, pretty much everyone using these tools. So before we can even begin to catch these mistakes, we have to get really, really precise about what we're actually looking for. The words we use here matter a lot, because if we're trying to measure the wrong thing, we're going to get the wrong answer every time. Let's get our toolkit ready. This right here is such a crucial distinction. On one side, you've got faithfulness. Is the AI sticking to the script? Is it being true to the specific article or document we gave it? And on the other side, you've got factuality. Is what the AI is saying actually true about the real world? See, an AI can faithfully summarize an article that's full of wrong information, right? So the summary is faithful, but it's not factual. Or it could just ignore the article, pull a correct fact from its memory, and give you something that's factual but not faithful to the source. You gotta know which one you're asking for. You're also gonna hear people talk about groundedness. It's basically just another word for faithfulness. When we ask if an AI's answer is grounded, we're really asking, can we trace this claim back to the information we provided? Is it anchored to our data? Or is the AI just kind of winging it, pulling from its giant library of general knowledge? For most serious work, we need answers that are firmly grounded in our own stuff. And it turns out these hallucinations come in a few different flavors. You might see a claim hallucination, where the AI just invents a number like a 50% budget cut out of thin air, or an entity hallucination, a simple case of mistaken identity, mixing up Jane and John Smith. But maybe the most dangerous one is a relationship hallucination. This is where it has all the right pieces, but connects them backwards, saying company A bought B when it was the other way around. These are so subtle, but the consequences can be huge. Okay, so we know this is happening all the time. But let's be real, checking every single thing an AI says by hand is totally impossible if you're doing this at scale. So the billion-dollar question becomes, how do we automate this? How do we build a system to find these AI lies for us? Well, there are basically three main ways to do it automatically, and each one is a trade-off, right? You've got these NLI-based methods that are super fast and cheap, but their accuracy is just okay. Then there are QA-based methods, which are a little better but also slower. And then the most accurate approach, using another powerful AI to act as a judge, well, that's also the slowest and most expensive. The best strategy is usually a mix. Use the fast, cheap stuff for broad checks and bring in the heavy, expensive judges for the really high-stakes situations. Now, this brings us to a really tricky hidden danger. It's totally counterintuitive. I mean, common sense tells you that as an AI sounds more human, more fluent, more confident, it's probably getting more accurate too, right? That just makes sense. Yeah, no, not at all. In fact, a lot of research shows that the exact opposite is often true. And it's all because of something called the fluency-faithfulness trade-off. Let's unpack what that means. Welcome to what we call the fluency trap. As people, we have a bias. We like answers that sound confident and are well-written. The AI models, which are trained on our feedback, they learn this preference. So when they come to a gap in the information, instead of just saying, I don't know, they fill in that gap with something that sounds plausible. We're actually training them to do this. And the result? You get a more fluent, more confident, and more frequently wrong AI. And the crazy part is, this fluency trap doesn't just mess with the AI, it messes with us too. Look at this. When human reviewers are rushed and they only have 30 seconds to check the AI's work, they only catch about 60% of the hallucinations. But give them just a couple of minutes, and that number jumps all the way to 85%. That smooth, confident tone just makes us let our guard down, especially when we're in a hurry. Since we know we can't get the hallucination rate down to zero, not with today's tech, the whole goal has to shift. It's not about totally eliminating the problem anymore. It's about risk management. It's about building systems to keep an eye on these failures all the time, especially once an AI is out there, live, and interacting with the real world. This is how the pros do it. They set up risk thresholds. So maybe a hallucination rate under 3% is fine. That's normal operations. But if it starts to creep up towards 5%, that triggers an investigation. Something's going on. And if it goes over 5%, alarms go off, it gets escalated immediately. You have to know what your tolerance for error is and then watch it like a hawk. And here's a perfect real-world example of that in action. So a company had this customer service AI just humming along, super low hallucination rate, 1.7%, great. But then month 2, they push a model update, and their automated monitoring system catches a big jump, all the way to 5%. Because they were watching, they could quickly figure out the cause. It was some new ambiguous training data. And they deployed a fix. Imagine if they hadn't been monitoring. That problem would have just kept going, creating thousands of frustrating moments for customers. So, what's the takeaway here for building AI we can actually trust? It really boils down to 4 key commitments. First, be precise. Know if you need faithfulness or factuality. Second, get granular. Check the individual claims, not just the overall vibe of a sentence. Third, measure separately. You have to evaluate how fluent something is and how faithful it is as 2 different things, so you don't fall into the fluency trap. And finally, number 4, and this is so important, monitor continuously. Pushing an AI live isn't the end of the project, it's the beginning. And all of this leaves us with one last big thought. These AI systems are only going to get deeper and deeper into our lives. So if we know for a fact that they can be incredibly persuasive, incredibly fluent, and just dead wrong, then the responsibility for critical thinking, for asking the hard questions, and for actually verifying what we're told, well, that responsibility ultimately falls right back on us.
Well,